If you're this consistent, I gotta deliver. Let's do it. VHS opens up with literally the worst men you could ever imagine. It's this group of these four fucking hoodlums who just go around committing crimes and filming them. But like crimes including like assaulting a woman in a parking lot. So because they apparently just fucking love crime, they get hired anonymously one night to break into a house to steal a VHS tape. When they get there, they find the house empty with the exception of this dead guy on a couch, as well as a bunch of VHS tapes, which this dude starts to watch. And that's what we get for the rest of the movie. So it's an anthology and it's made up of 5 different segments. The first segment is called Amateur Night and it was directed by David Bruckner. So we meet just more of the worst men you've ever met in your life. That's a theme in this movie. And the 3 of them rent a motel room for the purpose of bringing women back with them to do it. And they have like cameras planted to secretly film it because they want to make an amateur corn video without consent. Great. So while the 3 of them are bar hopping, they meet this girl named Lily. And Lily's just automatically a fucking weirdo. And she just goes up to one of the guys and just keeps saying, I like you. So they get Lily and this other girl to come back to the motel room, but the other girl passes out drunk. So one of these guys starts to get it on with Lily. As he's doing that, a second guy approaches and Lily bites a chunk out of his hand. So when the other 2 go out to check on their friend, they see that Lily has now sprouted fangs and has become this creature and is killing this guy. She then goes after the other 2 where she corners one and kills him as well and rips off his... Clint, who's the third guy who Lily kept saying, I like you to. He manages to escape the room, but Lily corners him. Lily looks at him now in just like full creature form. Her head is split open. She has fangs. And she once again says, I like you. And Clint doesn't respond and she starts crying and then starts growling at him. Clint's able to make a run for it and ask a bunch of people in the parking lot for help, but before they're able to do anything, we see from his POV that he is literally picked up and flown into the sky because Lily has now sprouted wings. Because turns out she is a succubus and she is just searching for a mate. So that tape ends and we go back to the house with these fucking idiots. One of them is now nowhere to be found and the other ones have found boxes of like hundreds of VHS tapes in the basement. So they don't know which one is the one to take. And then we, the audience, as the camera turns, see a strange figure like walking in the distance, but they don't see it. And then they put in the next tape. So the next segment is called Second Honeymoon and it's actually directed by Ty West. So this one's about this married couple, Sam and Stephanie, and they're on a road trip celebrating their honeymoon. So they're just doing like regular vacation stuff. One night they get like a fortune by like one of those mechanical fortune teller things. And it tells Stephanie that she will soon be reunited with a loved one. That night in their hotel, they get a knock on their door and it turns out to be this random woman. And Sam tells Stephanie that this woman asked for a ride. So obviously he turned her away and then we get camera footage of her just like standing in the street. Now that night we get more footage inside the hotel room, but neither Sam nor Stephanie is filming it. We know that because whoever this third person is filming them while they're asleep. And whoever this person is, we see them steal $100 from Sam's wallet. The next day he accuses Stephanie of stealing it. Should have mentioned, he also sucks too. He like also tries to make a Schmex tape without Stephanie wanting to. Again, that's the theme here. So that night, we once again see this third mysterious person recording them while they're sleeping. But this time, that person takes a switchblade and stabs it into Sam's throat and he dies. We see footage of this mysterious person in the mirror in the bathroom with his mask on. But then we see a second one too. And it turns out that it is fucking Stephanie along with the girl that came to the hotel room earlier because they're lovers and they wanted to get rid of him. And the final shot shows them driving off with Stephanie asking, did you erase it? Talking about the footage. Back to these dumbasses again. We see this guy watching the footage, but he's too fucking dumb to notice that the corpse that was sitting behind him is now gone. And the others talk about how when they find this special tape, they're going to make copies of it so they could blackmail whoever hired them into giving them more money. So, like, they're already committing crime, but they want to commit more crime. Anyway, then we get into the third segment, and this one is called Tuesday the 17th, and it's directed by Glenn McQuaid. So this one is about this girl named Wendy, and she's taking her 3 new friends to this, like, mysterious location in the woods. As they get there, Wendy, like, automatically starts acting fucking weird and talks about all these accidents that happened here. And then she straight up looks at this guy, Joey, and says, you're all gonna fucking die out here. And he's not, like, immediately concerned that this is a red flag. Joey also starts seeing some weird shit through his camera, like he sees these glitches. At one point, one of the glitches shows, like, a dead body in the lake. Later that night, Wendy tells the group that these woods are this place where a killer killed a bunch of kids. But the rest of the group just, like, thinks she's joking. Like, how is this not all enough for you guys? So Samantha and this other dude named Spider go into the woods to use the bathroom. Spider catches this weird glitch in the woods and now it looks like a figure walking towards them. And sure enough, Samantha is killed when a knife gets thrown through her eyeball. And Spider tries to run away but is stabbed and killed as well. And this glitch or this figure is the killer. So now it's just Wendy and Joey, and Wendy tells him that all of her friends were killed at this lake the year prior, and she's the only survivor. So now she brought them here to bait the killer so she could kill him as revenge for killing her friends. Joey thinks this is all a big fucking joke until the glitch walks up behind him and slits his throat and he dies. Wendy then proceeds to lure this glitch into like this trap that she made. It's like a bear trap. But when she gets up close to it, he like slashes at her and injures her. So she runs away, and while she's doing so, she's warning people to never come here. Wendy sees the glitch get hurt by another trap and she thinks that like she's got it this time. It ambushes her and beats her to death with her own camera. The last shot we get is of Wendy dying, and as she does, her body like violently starts to twitch. And the camera starts to glitch, which implies that she is now going to be the next glitch. Back to these fucking losers. The corpse is back, but this dude is gone. So now there's 2 of them left, and they're confused as fuck because they're like, where are the other 2? But again, they're dumb, so they just continue to look through the tapes. The 4th segment is called The Sick Thing That Happened to Emily When She Was Younger. This one's directed by Joe Swanberg, who also plays the husband from the 2nd segment. So we have this girl, Emily, video chatting with her boyfriend, James, and she's showing him this weird bump that she has on her arm and mentions that it reminds her of something that happened to her when she was younger. And she also tells him how she's been hearing weird noises in her apartment. And one night we straight up see this like ghost child run by her. So now Emily's convinced that her apartment is completely haunted, and the next day she's like cutting whatever this thing is out of her arm because she thinks that there's something under there. But she's like going at it. It's like a gaping hole. So James is like, what the fuck? Stop that. That night, Emily video chats James again because she starts to hear shit outside of her room. She closes her eyes and tells James, like, let me know when you see something because I'm too scared to look. And he sees these 2 creepy ass looking ghosts who then proceed to knock Emily unconscious. But as she's knocked out, James suddenly walks in when he said he was like miles away. And he surgically removes a fetus from Emily as she's knocked out. Because turns out the ghosts are not ghosts. They are aliens. And they've been using Emily as like a host for their like alien/human hybrid babies. And James asks them like, how many more times do we have to do this? I'm not sure she can survive this again. And she already noticed the tracking implant in her arm. So what the fuck are we supposed to do? The aliens then proceed to wipe Emily's memory, and James breaks some of her bones to make it look like this was a big accident. The next shot we see, it's daytime and Emily's like in a cast and she's all bruised. And she believes that she basically had a psychotic break. She doesn't remember anything. And she tells James, you deserve a better girlfriend. And James said, you're the only one I want to be with. But he's a fucking liar. Because the final shot we get is James video chatting another woman who calls him her boyfriend and also complains about a bump on her arm. One more time with these idiots. Because now there's just one left. The corpse is gone and the other 3 are gone. And when he notices the corpse is gone, he then proceeds to be attacked by the corpse, who is a fucking zombie. This movie's really all over the place. So he ends up getting killed and the last VHS tape starts to play by itself. The 5th and final segment is called 10/31/98, and it is directed by Radio Silence. So it's Halloween night and these 4 friends are together and they're going to a Halloween party, but they show up at the wrong address. So they think they're the first ones there and they go inside and they think that they're at like a haunted house because weird shit starts happening. Like hands start coming out of the walls at them and shit. So they're laughing, having a grand old time, and eventually they find their way up to the attic. And they see this ritual going on, and it's these men with this woman strung up in the middle, and they're performing an exorcism on her. So the boys start like clapping and laughing because they think this is a fucking joke. So the men obviously get pissed and start to charge at the boys, but they get pulled away by an unseen force. So the guys start to panic, but they decide to go back and rescue the girl. So they untie her and take her out of the house, but as they're leaving the house, weird shit starts to happen. More hands are coming out of the wall, shit's flying everywhere. But eventually they manage to get in the car with her and drive away. However, as they're hurriedly driving away, the car suddenly just stops. And when they look down, the girl is fucking gone. They look up and see that the girl has now appeared in front of them, in front of the car. And it turns out this girl is actually fucking possessed, and that's why they were trying to do an exorcism on her and they ruined it. And turns out the car stalled on train tracks. They try to get out of the car to no avail, the doors are all locked, and we just see the train rushing towards them as they scream. And the train crashes into them, presumably killing them all, and the movie ends. Just kidding, it doesn't really end. It really ends with a montage of these fucking losers committing a bunch of crime again. Obviously before they all got killed by the zombie.